Hi dear students, welcome to Geeta's classes. Now we are going to do some problems on theory of inference. We have completed two methods. One is by truth table and direct method we have seen. That is you have to derive the conclusion from the given set of premises. So we have completed two methods and another two methods, CP rule and inconsistency, that is indirect method. We are going to see that now. So before that, let us recollect the implications. I asked you to remember 14 implications. Let us recollect once. I1, all of you please remember these things. Try to remember these things. So P and Q implies P and I2 is P and Q implies Q. These two are called simplification. And I3, P implies PRQ and I4, Q implies PRQ. This is called addition. Then I5, not P implies P conditional Q. I6, Q implies P conditional Q. Next is I7. You just interchange these two with negation. Okay. So not of P conditional Q implies P. Negation of P, it is P. Similarly, interchange these two with negation. So I8, negation of P conditional Q implies not Q. So if you remember I5 and I6, I7 and I8 are easier. Okay. Then I9. I9 is P comma Q implies P and Q. It is called conjunction. I10, not P comma P or Q implies Q. It is called disjunctive syllogism. Disjunctive syllogism. I11, P comma P conditional Q implies Q. It is modus ponens. I12, you just interchange these two. Bring this Q to the left hand side. Not Q comma P conditional Q implies this P will come to the right hand side. That is not P. It is called modus tollens. I13, you remember transitive rule, that is P comma Q. P conditional Q and Q conditional R implies P conditional R. That is hypothetical syllogism. Hypothetical syllogism. And I14, PRQ. You remember this? P conditional new variable R and Q also conditional R implies the new variable R is the answer. This is called dilemma. And we have seen direct method and truth table method to find out the conclusion from follows from the given set of premises or not. Next method is rule CP. If a formula S can be derived from another formula R and a set of premises, R and a set of premises H1, H2, etc. Hn, then the statement R conditional yes, if this is the conclusion is yes, then R conditional yes follows from, can be derived from the set of premises. That means this notion we are going to use. Okay. That is, where will you use this? If the conclusion is of the form R conditional yes, then you just remove, the method is very simple. Remove this R, add in the actually H1, H2, etc. Hn or the premises given, and conclusion is of the form R conditional yes, then remove this R, add as an additional premise, that is the new set of premises will be along with H1, H2, etc. Hn. I am removing this R and adding as an additional premise, and I want to prove that this is the conclusion. Yes is the conclusion. Okay, this will be easier sometime. Okay, or if the in the question it is given using rule CP method, then you have to do that. Okay, and always if the conclusion is of the form or conditional use, then only you can use rule CP method. Okay, so remove this or, add as an additional premise, try to conclude yes. Okay, this is the method. Let us see one problem in that. Derive P conditional Q conditional yes using CP rule. Derive this P conditional Q conditional yes using CP rule from the premises P conditional Q conditional R and Q conditional R conditional yes. So this is our conclusion. This is in the form of R conditional yes. Okay. So this is the antecedent, this is the consequent. So remove this antecedent, add as an additional premise. So we have actually H1 and H2, and I am going to add this P as an additional premise. Now our conclusion will become Q conditional yes. Understood? So remove this P, add as an additional premise. Okay. So first I am going to introduce, now using these three premises I am going to arrive at Q conditional yes. This is our new conclusion. Okay. If you can prove like that, that means that by using CP rule, you can say that this P conditional Q conditional yes can be derived from the given set of two premises. Okay. So first now I have this premise also. So P. Now actually I am introducing one premise. So always I write rule P. Is it the given premise? No. We have added as an additional premise, right? So please write here additional premise. From the conclusion we have taken this P as an additional premise, right? So second one is I am introducing this P conditional Q conditional R. So I am introducing another premise, that is rule P. Now P comma P conditional Q conditional R implies Q conditional R. That is rule T. I am using a formula here. I am introducing a formula here. So rule T I have applied in which steps? 1 and 2. Which one? I11, that is modus ponens. Please write the names also. Then 4. Now Q conditional R can be written as not Q or R, right? This is equivalence. Okay. So I am using a formula, a rule T in step 3, equivalence. Okay. Then fifth one, I am introducing the other one, Q conditional R conditional yes. That is rule P. Now I am using not Q R conditional yes. Depending on the requirement, it is not the unique way that you have to follow this. If you want, you can use the other rules also, no problem. Okay. This is not the unique method. So I am applying in 5 equivalence. Then next one is not Q R, which step I have written? 6, 7. Not Q R and R conditional yes. Right? This is a formula I am using actually from step number 4 and 6. Here I have not Q or R. Here I have not Q or R conditional yes. So I am going to club this using distributive law. Actually H1 comma H2 means what? H1 and only, no? So this is the meaning is H1 and H2 only. Similarly here not Q or R and this one. Not Q or R conditional yes can be using distributive law. I can take the common outside, that is not Q or this R and R conditional yes. So I am using a formula here. So rule T I have applied in steps 4, 6, then distributive law. Okay, so next one is here, this can be written as or and R conditional yes is not Q or S. So rule T, this is a formula again. R and R conditional yes means what? R comma R conditional yes. That means what? Using I11. I11 is modus ponens. Okay. So in the place of R and R conditional yes, I am writing yes. So rule T from 7 I11, that is modus ponens. That is R comma R conditional yes implies yes. This is R and only. H1 comma means it is and only. Okay. That is why this R and R conditional yes I have written it as yes. So these are all another way of representing, that's all. So Q this is not Q or S, is Q conditional yes. So rule T from step equivalence. Step 8 equivalence law. Always Q conditional yes is not Q or S, we know. Therefore, what is our yes here? See, we have to arrive at Q conditional yes only. Okay. So, but our aim is to write P conditional. This is the answer you have to give. This is our conclusion, right? So, after arriving at our new conclusion, now you can write it as P conditional, Q conditional yes. That is rule T. I have applied in rule 9, step 9, but using rule CP. Because already we have removed P and added as an additional premise. Okay. Therefore, this is our new conclusion C, and this is our required conclusion. This I am writing from rule CP. Okay. So if you are using rule CP, you have to mention in the last step, you write required conclusion and write these are rule CP. Okay. Next method, inconsistent premises. This is a definition. Even this definition is important. Okay. A set of premises or formulas H1, H2, etc. Hn is said to be inconsistent if their conjunction implies a contradiction. You know that already we have seen P and not P, Q and not Q. These are all contradictions. You will get, I'll show you. P means TF, right? Not P is FT. Negation of this. So P and not P, what will you get? T and F, F. F and T is also F. So this is false. Everything is false. If all the values are false, it is called contradiction. Okay. That is why P and R and not R. This R, it need not be a single variable. You can have a formula for this. Okay. That is P and Q. P and Q and not of P and Q. This is an example I am giving. In the place of R, here this P and Q is represented by R. It need not be a single variable. It can be a formula also. That is why I have written for some formula R. Okay, it need not be a single variable, right? So, and a set of premises is said to be consistent if it is not inconsistent. So, in indirect method, we are going to do that only. See, I'll explain the method, then you can go through the theory part. See, H1, H2, Xn, H1, H2, etc. Hn are given premises and C is the conclusion. So, usually what will we try to do? H1 and H2 etc. and Hn implies C, right? So we will introduce all these things and we'll try to arrive at the conclusion. Now what we are going to do is, I am going to add this not C as an addition, negation of this C conclusion as an additional premise, and I am going to prove that this is a contradiction, R and not R. Okay, so R and not R. Right. So this is our conclusion. Negation of the conclusion is taken and added as an additional premise, arrive at contradiction. So if the method is mentioned by indirect method in the question, if it is mentioned, prove this is a valid conclusion. using indirect method, what you have to do is take the negation of the conclusion, add as an additional premise, arrive at some contradiction. Okay. Or and not or means it need not be a single variable. It can be a formula. It may be a single variable or a formula. Okay. So indirect method of proof, the notion of inconsistency, you can go through all these things. Whatever I have explained now, I have written here. Okay. So now let us see some problems. Show that not P follows from not Q, comma P conditional Q by indirect method. If it is mentioned that indirect method, you have to follow that only. Okay. Otherwise, it may be easy to get it. Okay. So first one is, now what is our conclusion? Given conclusion is not P, right? But I want negation of C, that is negation of P, which is P. Now P is our new premise, right? So first one, you can write negation of P also as a rule P. But here it is an additional premise. Additional premise. Okay. Second one. Now this is P, that is rule T. This is a formula I have used in step number 1 using double negation, right? Double negation. Then third one, the other one is P conditional Q. So rule P, I have introduced another premise. Then next is P comma P conditional Q is, actually I don't want Q here, I want a negation of Q conditional negation of P. Because I have P, I want negation of P. If I have negation of P, then it will be easier for me. Okay. So negation of Q conditional negation of P. So this is rule T. I have applied a formula. Contrapositive I have taken equivalent formula. Either you can write contrapositive or equivalence also you can write. Equivalence formula. And one more premise is not Q. I have introduced another premise, that is rule P. Then sixth one. From this not Q conditional, not Q comma not Q conditional, not P implies not P. That is rule T as a formula. So 5 comma 4 I11 modus ponens. Okay. Then seventh one. Now I have P and not P. So I can write P comma Q implies P and Q. So P and not P, this is rule T. From step number 2 comma 6 I9. I9 is P conjunction, right? I9 is conjunction. So 2 comma 6 I9. Now we got a contradiction. How did you get a contradiction? We have taken the negation of the conclusion and arrived at a contradiction. Therefore, it is follows from, not P follows from the given set of premises. Okay. So you have to write like this. Therefore, the inclusion of not C leads to a contradiction. Leads to a contradiction. Therefore, not P follows from not Q comma P conditional Q. Okay. Actually, this is our I12, I think. No? Yes, I12, right? We'll see one more problem. Show that B can be derived from the premises. B can be derived from the premises A conditional B, comma C conditional B, D conditional A or C, and D by indirect method. Now what is our conclusion? B. So negation of P is to be taken as the additional premise, right? So first we'll see this is our H1, H2, H3 and H4. Okay. And negation of P you have to take as an additional premise, right? So you need not always write this as an first statement and all, nothing. The order is not at all important, okay? But you have to introduce all the premises, right? So first I am going to introduce H1, that is A conditional B, that is rule B. I am introducing a new premise, A conditional B. Then next is C conditional B, rule P. From these two I can write A or C conditional B, right? That is rule T from 1 and 2. Actually this is not A or B, okay? This is not C or B, like that. Then again you have to take negation of that, right? So fourth one, D conditional A or C, that is rule P. And fifth one, D conditional B, that is rule T from 4, 3. D conditional A or C and A or C conditional B is I13, right? Hypothetical syllogism. You write the name. And next one is, now I have D conditional B and I have D also, that is rule B. I am introducing one more premise is there, D. So seventh one, D comma D conditional B is B. This is rule T. 6 and 5, I11, modus ponens. Then I have one more not B as an additional premise. This is a contradiction of the given conclusion, that is rule P. I am introducing that, but it is not the given premise, so always you mention that it is an additional premise. Okay. So next step is I have B and B not B, so B and not B, that is rule T. As this is the formula, that is from 7 and 8 and I9 conjunction. Okay. So which is, now we have arrived at a contradiction, B and not B. We have arrived at a contradiction, therefore it is that B can be derived from the given set of premises. Okay. And you can expect these kind of problems in the exam. Statements will be given, from this you have to derive. Actually this is an example what I have given in my introduction class. I have given no conclusion can be arrived from the given set of premises. I have given you one restaurant example, the same thing here also, okay, with the statements whatever you are having in your hand. From that you can arrive at some, logically you can arrive, you can think of the given statements and can you come to this conclusion or not, okay, those kind of examples only. Now if you help me and don't try to relate everything with English, okay, this is pure logic. It need not have a, for example, if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, it will rain, or today is Monday, like that, anything, okay. So it need not be connected, it need not have any meaning for that, okay. But this is depending only on pure logic, right? So if you help me, then I will do my homework. These are the given premises. Now this is the premise H1, this is H2 and H3, and this is our conclusion. Now you have to find out whether C follows from the given set of premises or not. Whenever you are given like this, please try to divide them into atomic statements. Okay, you read the question and try to collect all the atomic statements. Here what are all there? You help me is one statement. I will do my homework is one statement. if you do not help me, that means negation of this sentence. Okay. I will go to sleep early. It is another statement. I go to sleep early. Already it is repeated. So you need not write that. The teacher will punish me. So there are 4 atomic statements we can find out from the given question, right? So let us give some names for this. So P is you help me, and Q is I will do my homework, okay. R is I will go to sleep early, and S is the teacher will punish me. So these are the atomic statements. From the given statements, please try to write this. The teacher will write atomic statements, okay, without connectives. Actually, atomic statements means you should not be able to further divide into statements, okay. So teacher, it is not a statement. Punish me, it is not a statement, okay, like this. You won't be able to divide again into atomic statements. Now these are the names we have assigned P, Q, R, S. Now try to write the premises in terms of logical expression. First one is if you help me, then I will do my homework. So if you help me, that is if P, then I will do my homework Q. So first premise is P conditional Q. Right? This is our H1. Okay. And what is the second statement? If you do not help me, then I will go to sleep early. If you do not help me, that means not P, right? So not P. If you do not help me, I will do my homework. I will do my homework is what? I will do my homework is Q. So, sorry. If you do not help me, then I will go to sleep early. Not I will do homework. That is first one. I will go to sleep early. That is I will go to sleep early is R. Okay. So not P conditional R. If you do not help me, then I will go to sleep early. That means not P conditional R. Not P conditional R. This is our second premise. What is the third premise? If I go to sleep early, the teacher will punish me. If I go to sleep early is R, right? So if R, then the teacher will punish me. That is R conditional yes. R conditional yes. This is our H3, right? Now, what is our all the H3, H1, H2, H3 I have written. Now we want conclusion. What is the conclusion now? If I do not do my homework, then the teacher will punish me. If I do not do my homework, that is not Q. Not Q. Conditional. The teacher will punish me is yes. So not Q conditional. Yes is our conclusion. Okay. So if sentences are given, you should be able to write them in logical expressions. Then you try to derive any method. If nothing is mentioned, you can use direct method or CP rule, whatever you want. CP rule you cannot. You can use CP rule also. Not Q. You have to add as an additional premise. You can arrive at yes. Okay. Now let us see. But easiest is direct method only. Okay. So first let me introduce not P conditional R. I am going to introduce this. So step number 1, not P conditional R, that is rule P. I am introducing a new premise. Second one, R conditional yes, I will introduce, that is a rule P again. I am introducing a new premise. Then not P conditional R, R conditional yes. So not P conditional yes, that is rule T. I am introducing a formula from steps 1 and 2 and I13. Okay, that is hypothetical syllogism. Please write the name also. So fourth one is now I will introduce the other one also. Yeah, P conditional Q, that is a rule P. I am introducing the other premise H1. You have to introduce all the premises. It can be in any order. From this, I am going to write it as not Q conditional not P. Okay, that is rule T from step 4, and it is an equivalence. Okay, sixth one, that is a contrapositive you can say, or equivalence you can say. Now, not P conditional yes. Now we want not Q conditional not P and not P conditional yes. Yeah. So I'll get not Q conditional yes directly. Yes. Rule T, formula 5, comma 3. Not Q conditional not P conditional yes. And I 13. Okay. That is hypothetical syllogism. Please write the names here. So this is what we want. Not Q conditional yes is the conclusion. Okay. So that's all about inference theory. And next topic is quantifiers, predicates and quantifiers. We'll see in the next class. Thank you for listening.